If we put an analogy, like for example, okay, so if we talk about 5G, that definitely there is a tremendous opportunities and it will create a lot of work, etc. Now, another revolution similar to this was the internet. So internet came into existence. All of a sudden, we have this infrastructure that is surrounding the world with Wi-Fi technology. So everywhere around us, everybody has access to this network. Now that networks exist and that can create lots and lots of opportunities. But there's only a few people like Mark Zuckerberg, like Brin and from Google, who really take an enormous benefit out of that, because actually the infrastructure is free, and they know that if we utilize this very expensive infrastructure at zero costs, then we can make huge amounts of money. So there's an impact, and there are a lot of people who work for Google who actually make a very good income, and Google is providing a lot of value. But how many people are really making money off of this?
5G has a very high speed interface speed, but it is very good opportunity and good technology, but backbone speed couldn't speed up so easily.
Yes.
Especially international communication.
Exactly. So basically, you have this super highway until bang, you hit a regular network, and then it's.
Especially under the sea fiber cable couldn't change so easily.
Well, no, actually, under the sea cable is Huawei. Now they are touching heavily. They try involving under the sea, what that cable under the sea. Huawei going to be heavily try to make investment.
What is that? Is that they are going? Is that fiber optics, or are they using
Fiber optics, right? They try to make a network all over the world. Huawei try to do that.
Is that really?
Yeah, physically. But actually, 5G is physical equipment. But also software, but also physical equipment, right? We understand.
But infrastructure with a fiber cable under the sea, it can cost very huge money.
Yeah, but they got a lot of huge profit. As you know, they said, okay, they are Ren Chenwei said, okay, their smartphone price is, we can make it very cheap price because labor is very cheap compared with America, compared with Japan. But they try to raise price because if they're going to sell the lower price, it's they got a complaint from the other competitor. So he tried to increase price. So not the cost, based on cost. They try to consider for the competitor's price. It means tremendous profit he got in the past several years. Unbelievable, the tremendous profit they got. So they try to profit to invest, like you said.
But Huawei is just an edge equipment maker, not core equipment. Technology of the core equipment and the edge equipment is very different. And I think challenge of the Huawei, it seems like Elysium plan of about 20 years ago of the Motorola. Elysium plan is in the world about 200 or 300 satellites, and Motorola connects all the satellite worldwide network. I think the Huawei's challenge is like that.
They made it?
Yeah.
Motorola put 200 satellites in it?
Yes, Elysium has do you know the Elysium? なんていうか、イリジウムの電子のこう数がそのぐらいある。20 or about 20 or 25 years ago, Motorola had a plan of the Elysium. That means worldwide
So, around the world, from every north,
satellite.
east, south, west, and they would have satellites that
satellite network. And in the world, Motorola provides a mobile phone in the world.
Right, a global, but they never built it.
But Motorola has a failure because of lack of the money.
Yeah, well, that's very expensive, especially at that time. It's super expensive.
And Motorola should be go to the under the subsidiary company of the Google.
Right. Yeah. My friend was working for Motorola, and then he became a Googler. Yeah.
So-
Maybe they are very happy under the Google.
Right.
So Huawei is switching their profit,
Yeah.
the money to the cable
Mm.
under the sea. They get into this new market. Yeah, okay. So what you going to show this? Well, disappear this way.
Disappeared.
What disappeared?
Yes, it's great.
Oh. Ah, maybe.
Oh, okay.
Oh. Switched off.
Okay.
What is?
Wait.
No light.
No light.
No light.
One more.
Indicating
Status.
status is not stable. Change input.
From observations of
Oh, turn on.
Huh? What happened?
How come?
Maybe inside the box is a high temperature.
High temperature.
Where is the?
Turn on.
Okay, so if I.
consideration
No.
into that a little.
So how am I going to display it? There's no. Oh, ちょっと can I switch off the aircon?
あ
すっごく寒い。
あ、綺麗。
Why?
Why?
I want to display this. もう全然。
Okay, just let me try.
Wait.
What?
Yeah. 大丈夫だよ。Okay.
Not 大丈夫. This is I worry about this screen coming here. Recording is is coming down. But go ahead. Okay, just we'll soon break. But so go ahead.
Okay.
Further later on in the conversation. But you say the problem is the failure of globalism.
Yes.
So again, to set this foundation, what is globalism? How do we define globalism against maybe another word that is
Her
in our
voice is a
lexicon,
little bit small,
globalization?
and
What's
this
the
is his
difference?
voice.
So I
Very
want to be very
rushed.
clear when I write a book and the title is, or the subtitle, "The Failure of Globalism." It is not the failure of globalization. Globalization, in my view, has been an extraordinary success. We have, in the last 20 years, taken 1 billion people out of poverty around the world. We, 90% of all kids by the age of 1 right now get immunizations. A baby born today, anywhere in the world, the average age life expectancy is 70. Women are getting educated. I mean, this is astonishing, and it's about globalization. I am a big fan of globalization. Globalism is the political notion that by supporting open borders and free trade and America as the global sheriff, that's going to be good for people inside the United States and these other advanced industrial democracies, that they should support that politically because they will be taken care of. And that's a lie. That's a political failure. That's our governments not paying attention to the fact that they need to be accountable and responsible to people inside their systems who are displaced by globalization. And that failure of globalism is what we are seeing now with the extraordinary anger and polarization and increasingly erosion of legitimacy of the political institutions in almost every advanced industrial economy in the world today.
Okay.
So we have globalization and globalism. And actually globalization is the process of of open borders, of what's happening on a global scale with the economy. We see that a lot of economic activity is going away from countries where with capital intensive industries towards countries where there was no capital but there's cheap labor. And that has been very successful because poverty has been reduced, healthcare has increased in countries where it used to be very, very bad, so life expectancy is increasing. So globalization in itself has done a lot of good to the world. It has helped countries to develop, and that in itself is success. But globalism is the political movement that will advocate to open borders, to create opportunities for all. That has failed a lot of people in countries inside the industrialized world, because actually they have lost their jobs. They don't have the same opportunities that they had before. So on a political level, in the industrialized world, globalism, the movement to globalize the economy has failed.
What does mean globalized?
Globalism means
Globalized economy failed. You say, what does mean?
Globalized economy. So a globalized economy has done a lot of good. So globalization has done a lot of good for countries outside Europe and the US, because they have brought jobs, they have brought opportunities for people who didn't have access to these opportunities because there was no capital. So how could they put a factory there? But now, because of open borders, they can do jobs. They can become IT people. They can do all kinds of call center jobs, or they can actually work in factories because capital has been moving away from the United States into countries where labor is cheaper. That is globalization. As a result of globalization, people in China, in India, in Southeast Asia have gotten jobs, and they see a tremendous rise in income. And as a result of that, more taxes flow to the economies in those countries, and you see better health care, better education. Life expectancy is increasing, so people have more money, better health. All is good in terms of globalization for the countries who are not in the aforementioned countries like US, Europe, but and Japan for that matter.
But what is
globalism? Globalism.
No, you said the global economy had failed.
Globalism has
globalism.
That's the political movement that supports that supports globalization, and that is especially in countries inside Europe and in the US, where people say open borders are good because it creates welfare for all. That is not true. Actually, that ignores the fact that a lot of people are actually losing in this system. and they are not able to compete with workers in developing nations. So globalism to stimulate open borders is a failing political movement. It doesn't work for many people inside those countries.
You mean just the same as what we discussed before? Local American people, blue workers, salary is getting cheaper.
Right, right. Still fresh.
Ooh, huh? Yeah, but yeah.
美味しいトマトですね。すごいね。Still fresh. How is that possible? So, globalism is politics, Muna-san. And politics inside of developing countries. And these politics do not bring benefits to many people inside these countries. So that's why politicians like Donald Trump, Geert Wilders, Marine Le Pen, etc. Are so effective in gaining support at the moment, because people feel that the traditional parties, who almost without exception were in favor of globalizing and creating opportunity, all these political parties have failed them.
But this is a failure of globalization.
Yeah, that's the wrong title. It's a failure of globalism. But I don't think he put it on there, because the book is also about globalism, not globalization. I'd say also I think that this video only has about 120 views. So I don't know how come.
What do you mean 120 views?
There's only 120 people who have seen this video.
Does that make sense to everybody? Is that kind of okay? Good.
Well, I'll follow up and actually probe it just a little bit deeper, because in some sense, if globalization leads to all these gains, and globalism is in support of globalization, essentially, then exactly what is the way in which globalism has failed? Is it on this promise that's not true, or is there something more insidious?